to a World at War 85 battle report. In this scenario, Storming the Gap, we're playing one of the initial clashes between the Pact forces as they cross the border and run into leading elements of the 11th Armored Cavalry. Here's a look at the operational overview map showing that this scenario takes place right at the border between East and West Germany. So this scenario uses boards 1 and 2. Top of the map is going to be north. The victory conditions for this scenario are there are 2 objectives down in the south. The Pact must control both objectives by the end of turn 10. Now NATO can set up anywhere on the board, and after the NATO player has deployed all his troops, the Pact player can enter in anywhere on the northern or eastern edge of board 1. Here we have Charlie, 1st of the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, consisting of 2 Abrams platoons and infantry with a tow support weapon carried by an M113, an M901, Jeep with a tow, and 2 improved positions. For the Soviets, we've got 1st Battalion 15th Guard tanks with 9 T-80 platoons. So here in the village of Eichhoff-Siedlung, NATO is deploying their improved positions with the infantry and the tow. Just to the east of objective A, the Jeep with the tow and the M901 are placed in Woods Hex. And just to the east of objective B, which is the village of Honeck, if I pronounced that right, the 2 platoons of Abrams are placed on the hill, kind of overlooking the eastern approaches from the east edge of the map board. The overall idea here, we played this scenario a couple times in preparation for this, and we tried a couple of different defenses. Both my and my opponent, we played both sides a couple times, and it seems like if we deployed forward, we just get outflanked. So on this one, we're going to try to just defend objective A and not really worry about objective B at all. The Soviets have to take both objectives to win. So I decided to just defend objective A. But at the same time, we wanted to kind of bleed the Soviets as they entered. So there's really 3 main avenues of approach. They could come in over the hills, but it would slow them down. But there's 3 main avenues of approach, and what we're going to do is we're going to get some long-range fires on them, no matter which direction they come in. And then after some initial bleeding them at long range, the idea is to just fall back to the objective and kind of Alamo it back there and say, if you want this, bridge crossing, you got to come and take it. So we'll see how it turns out. So we're going to start out with turn 1, and both objectives are currently in the hands of NATO. Soviets decided to enter north edge of board 1, and here we have the lead T-80s moving in as a stack. The next T-80 comes in, and this prompts upfire from the Jeep with the tow. The T-80 is disrupted, and the Jeep passes his ammo check. The next T-80 comes in. This prompts upfire from the M901, which hits, reduces, and disrupts the T-80, and he also passes his ammo check. No more outfires, so we'll just kind of show you the rest of the battalion moving on real quick. And that's the end of the initiative. Starting turn 1. The first card drawn, end operations. Next one ends a turn. And then Charlie Company gets his first move, or Charlie Troop, I guess. I'll mess that up this whole game. Going to keep the headquarters over with the M1s, and which puts pretty much everybody but the M1s out of command. And as a result, only one unit passed the command check. The infantry M901 and M113 all failed their command check. The M1s decide to move across the valley, take up a position in the woods, and shoot long range at the only T-80 stack that it can see. Even though they move to the stack, when they take the fire, they're firing independently, and there was no effect. Now we're up to the 1st to the 15th. The headquarters placed on the full strength T-80 that had been disrupted in an attempt to get him back rolling, and as luck would have it, the disruption on the reduced T-80 was removed, but the disruption on the full strength T-80 failed that roll, thus stranding the headquarters in the back, at least temporarily. However, the attack must go on, so T-80s move forward. This prompts op fire from the Jeep. No effect, but pass the ammo check. Next T-80 moves up. M901 op fires, disrupts the T-80, passes the ammo check. Notice he's out of command, but an out of command unit. While he can't fire in his impulse, he can still fire out fire on the enemy's impulse. And no more op fire, so we're going to just go ahead and move everybody up. And the next card drawn is end operations. So we move to turn 2. Both objectives are in control of NATO. Just kind of an overview of the map at the beginning of the turn. I don't think we do any more of these overview shots throughout the battle report. But next card is the 1st to the 15th. My opponent moves or places the headquarters up with the main force. He does not remove the disruption from the T-80 that had been left behind. However, he does remove the disruption from the T-80 who was up at the lead of the elements. T-80 takes a shot at the Jeep with a tow, disrupting it. Guy right behind him takes a shot at the same target and misses. Lead T-80 breaks the stack, takes a moving fire, moves up, takes a shot at the M901 and misses. The T-80 with the headquarters attached takes a moving fire. This is going to prompt op fire from the M901, passes ammo check but no effect. The moving fire from the T-80 with the headquarters, however, is very effective, killing the M901. Next T-80 comes up, the one that's reduced, moves up and takes a moving fire shot at the infantry for no effect. Same thing again, no effect. Trail T-80 start moving forward, and at this point, Objective B is captured by the Soviets. Last T-80 moves up and forms a stack on Objective B. Next card draw is end op. And now Charlie gets a turn. Headquarters is going to stay with the M1 platoons. All the units that were out of command range pass their command checks, and the tow Jeep removes its disruption. So the tow Jeep figures it's probably a good time to move over to Objective A, get the improved positions. The infantry takes a shot at one of the damaged or the reduced T-80, kills it, it fails his ammo check. So now he's reloading his missiles. And then the the M1 platoon moves as a stack to the wooded road just to the east of objective B. Now, even though they move as a stack, when they fire, they have to fire individually. And the first moving fire was no effect. The second moving fire disrupted and reduced one of the T-80s in the town. And second in operations ends the turn. So we're moving to turn 3, and unfortunately, objective B has now become Soviet. First card draw, end operations. Second card draw, Charlie. Headquarters can stay over with the M1s. Everybody who was over in objective A fails command check, although the infantry did pass a reload check, so now they have missiles. But everyone else is out of command, so not much to do this turn. We are, however, going to open fire with the M1s. One M1 fires at the damaged T-80, killing it. The other M1 fires at the undamaged T-80 for no effect. Now the Russians' turn. Headquarters stays with the main body. The T-80 way in the back fails to remove this disruption. The remaining T-80 in objective B turns, shoots the M1 stack, disrupting it. Headquarters is okay. T-80 with the headquarters attached moves into the urban hex, shoots the disrupted M1, killing it and starting a fire. This forces the M1 and the headquarters, or the remaining M1 and the headquarters, to fall back out of the hex. T-80 over by objective Alpha, takes a shot at the infantry and disrupts it. Next T-80 moves up, forms a stack, takes moving fire at the infantry for no effect. At this point, realizing that moving fire against infantry with improved positions is pointless, the next T-80 moves up with no shooting, and the last guy moves up, forms a stack with him, again with no shooting. Charlie's turn. Figured here that it's starting to get critical over at objective A, so the headquarters moves from the M1 over to the infantry. I really needed this disruption to come off. With the headquarters, I need a 9 or less, managed to roll an 11. So, yeah, bad things, man. This disruption stays right there, and I really need that one to come off. However, the M1 did pass his command check, so I guess that's good. First thing we're going to do is take the M1, move it to the hill just south of objective B, occupy the woods. The Jeep is going to fire at the T-80 for no effect, and he's going to fail his ammo check. And then that's going to end the turn. So we're going to turn 4. Objectives Alpha is still NATO, and Bravo is Soviet. Soviets get the first card draw. Headquarters is going to move from objective B over to the T-80s closest to objective A, and the T-80 that's north out of command range both removes his disruption and passes a command check, decides to get back in the fight. First thing he does is start trolling forward. T-80 stack breaks up, and the first guy moves up adjacent to the town, takes a moving fire shot. There's no response from me because the Jeep tow is out of missiles, or is reloading, and the infantry is disrupted, so he gets a free shot. Fortunately, no effect. The headquarters and T-80 is going to decide to declare an assault. The result of the assault result, is the infantry received 2 hits, and the T-80 received 2 hits. Since the attacker did not roll more hits than the defender, the attacker has to fall back. Both headquarters were reduced in this process because there were casualties taken. Now, even though the infantry received 2 hits, one of them, the effects of one of them is canceled by the improved position, so he only reduces a step. He's not destroyed. Next T-80 stack splits. One of them declares an assault. He comes in. The infantry did no hits. The T-80 did 1 hit. Force even so here once again the 1 hit is canceled by the improved position, but the attackers inflicted more hits than they received, so they win the assault. The infantry has to fall back, and now objective A is contested. Didn't get an overview shot here. I think we were looking up the results of the assault. Forgot to take that shot, but anyway, the last T-80 in that stack declares an assault on the tow Jeep. The T-80 inflicts 1 hit. The Jeep doesn't have an assault factor, so you couldn't even respond. And once again, even though a hit was inflicted, it was enough to make the tow retreat. But because the tow is in an improved position, he doesn't actually take damage. I wanted to pull him back into the town rather than the open, but because the hex that I wanted to pull him into was adjacent to a T-80, he actually could not retreat to the southwest, so he had to go directly west, leaving him in a very bad position out in the open. Over on objective B, T-80 declares an assault on the M1s in the woods as he crests the hill. The M1 takes an opportunity fire at literally point break range. He inflicts disruption and reduces the T-80. The next guy, however, gets a free shot. M1s aren't having any of that. The M1s receive no hits but inflict 2, so that T-80 is also disrupted and reduced, and they fall back. First end opt card, second end opt card, and the turn is over. So we're moving to turn 5, and now objective A is contested, and objective B is Soviet. First card draw is end operations, with the Russians getting the second card draw. Headquarters is going to move over to, or place over to the 2 T-80s that are fighting with the M1. We're on the objective B side. The guy that had been lagging behind passes command check, but all the T-80s that were in and around objective A failed their command check. And of the 2 disruptions on the 2 T-80s to the east, only the one that had the headquarters attached passes disruption. My opponent had a very poor string of dice rolls here, and then I think he made 7 morale checks, and of the 7 morale checks, I think he passed 2. But he removed 1 disruption and passed 1 command check. So, guess I was feeling too bad for him, but it was a string of bad luck here. So the Trail T-80 moves up to objective B, and the headquarters attached T-80 shoots at the M1s in the woods, disrupting them. And now Charlie Company keep the headquarters with the M1s. They're going to remove their disruption. On the objective B side, everybody's out of command range. The Jeep passes their command check and reloads, but the infantry does not remove their disruption. The M1s with the headquarters attached take a shot at the disrupted and reduce T-80, killing it. Now the Jeep's in a kind of a tough spot because he's in the open, and even though all these T-80s are out of command, they can still opportunity fire. Did not want to stay in the wood, in the open here, but I didn't want to get opportunity fired by the T-80, so I fire point blank at the T-80s. Interesting thing here, A T-80 with composite armor in an urban hex with an improved position is extremely hard to kill with anti-tank guided missiles. I think I fired 4 dice needing 3s. One hit is automatically negated by the improved position, and then he gets his 4 defense dice plus 2 dice for the urban plus an additional dice for an ATGM shooting to the urban. So he ends up with like 7 dice needing 4s because of the composite armor. Yeah, that was a very ill-advised shot, but what do you do? Desperate times, right? So unsurprisingly, no effect on the shot. And in operations, 2 of 2 ends the turn. So now we're moving to turn 6. Objectives Alpha still contested, and Bravo is Soviet. First card draws in operations. Second card draws Charlie Company. Going to keep the headquarters with the M1s. The Toji passes his reload check. The infantry removes his disruption, and everybody in Objective A passes their command checks. M1 fires at the T-80 for no effect. Realizing the futility of shooting an ATGM at the T-80 in the improved position, I decided to just take the ammo. Maybe we'll get lucky, move into the town, but to no avail. Op-fire kills the Jeep, and the Russians get to turn. Soviet player keeps his headquarters off in the east with the T-80, and he does not remove his 1 disruption, and of the 3 remaining units, only 1 passes command check. T-80 with the headquarters fires at the M1s in the woods, reducing and disrupting the M1. Headquarters passes check. The trailing T-80 that's been out of the fight for a while moves up, takes a moving shot for no effect on the damaged M1. Over to Objective A, the 1 T-80 that passes command check moves into the city, receives an op fire from the infantry, which failed his ammo check. Interesting rules point here. The T-80 was actually disrupted, which was amazing considering the fact that there's like 7 dice rolls for 4. And the question came up, does he receive the effects of the improved position? I don't really know. We decided no, that he wasn't occupying the hex. He was being outfired as he entered the hex. And so we did not give him the hit removal or the hit ignored from the improved positions because he actually wasn't occupying them. He was moving into the hex. It could be wrong. I'm sure I'll hear about it later if it is, but that's how we played it. And the second end operations card is drawn. Ending the turn. So now we're moving to turn 7 with Objective A contested and Objective B is Soviets. Charlie Company gets the first draw. Once again, we're going to leave the M1 with the headquarters, or the headquarters with the M1. They are going to remove their disruption. The infantry in Objective B passes a reload check but fails his command check, so he's out of command. M1 fires at the damaged T-80, killing it. And that's the end of their no more activations for them. So next card draw is in operations. Second card draw is in operations, denying the Soviets a activation this round, so their headquarters goes its place on the in operations card for next turn. And we're going into turn 8. Objectives stay the same. Alpha is contested. Bravo is Soviet. First card draw is in operations. Charlie Company gets a turn. Keeping the headquarters for the M1. Once again, the infantry in the Objective Bravo, or I'm sorry, Objective Alpha is fails his command check. and the M1 shoots at this last T-80 over here. I roll hot, he rolls not hot, and it gets a kill. So at this point, the Allies have had, or NATO's had, 3 activations in a row. My opponent was getting a little frustrated, and I understand that, because earlier, whenever the Russians were going a lot, I was getting a little frustrated. One thing about this game is you cannot predict that sort of thing. It definitely can get streaky with the activations. And to prove that even further, this will be the 4th activation in a row that NATO got. Keeping the headquarters with the M1, the infantry in objective Alpha fails its command check. M1s move off of the hill, recapturing objective B. The T-80 in objective A takes an opportunity fire for no effect, and then the Abrams takes a moving fire, killing the disrupted T-80 just outside of the town. And finally, the Russians or the Soviets get a turn. So not a lot of options here for the headquarters. So he places the headquarters with the northern T-80 in the improved positions. He does not remove his disruption on the wing guy in the stack. Takes a fire at the M1 in objective Bravo and disrupts it. The other T-80 in objective Alpha shoots at the infantry for no effect. Second in operations, it's a turn. And now we're going to turn 9. Objective Alpha is still contested, but objective Bravo has switched back to NATO. And the first card draw goes to Charlie. Headquarters stays with the M1. The infantry passes his command check. Infantry shoots at the disrupted T-80 for no effect. And the M1 then shoots at the same T-80, reducing it. Charlie Company gets another activation. M1 stays, keeps the headquarters. Infantry fails his command check. M1 takes a shot at the disrupted and reduced T-80 for no effect. So we get an activation. They do not remove the disruption. Headquarters stays where it's at. He shoots the M1 in objective Bravo again, disrupting it. The remaining T-80 shoots at the infantry, killing it. And the first in operations card is drawn. The second in operations card is drawn. And we are moving to the final turn, which is turn 10. Objectives are Bravo is NATO, Alpha is still contested. And Charlie Company gets a draw. Headquarters stays with the M1. The disruption is removed. The 113 passes command check. The M1 takes a shot at the reduced and disrupted T-80 for no effect. It's now the Soviet draw. He does not remove his disruption. He fires at the M113, disrupting it. And the remaining T-80 shoots at the M1, killing it. Here's what it looks like at the end of the game. And at turn 10, objectives are Alpha contested. Bravo is NATO. Soviets failed to achieve their victory conditions, resulting in a Pyrrhic NATO victory, since they only have 1 APC left on the map. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, rules corrections, or anything else, put them in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed it.